All right, I'm going to talk about a topic that I come across all the time in therapy, and all of you know someone or a lot, maybe even about this topic. And that's the topic of the victim mentality. Now, if you're the type of person right now that's saying, I'm not that person, you sure about that? Anyways, um, we all do it on some level and on some degree. Now, when I talk about the victim mentality, I mean, it's a huge spectrum of what the possibilities could be when it comes to playing the victim role. And yes, of course, there are people that truly are victims in situations in their lives. Obviously, I would never imply or suggest that there aren't real victims out there, because there obviously are, and I've covered, trauma and other topics on uh, TikTok before and on YouTube and things like that. So it's one of those things where, yeah, there are victims out there, but the victim mentality or playing the victim role is different. Obviously, it's the assumption that I'm okay, but the world is not okay. At the core level, that's the mentality. I'm okay, world's not okay. Therefore, when bad things happen to me in my life, it has to be because of the world, and the world is doing something to me. It's not because I'm creating it. I've seen this in relationships. I've seen this with people who self sabotage. I've seen this in so many different circumstances and situations. It would take me hours to go over all of the different scenarios that somebody could play the victim role or the victim mentality or have the victim mentality. I'll just give you one big one, which is it's your fault, not mine. Right? So I mean that could be with a lot of things, right? But specifically with relationships, it's your fault, it's not my fault. And that's obvious a defense mechanism. It's so that, I don't accept blame. And I guess you could say that at the other part of the core on an emotional level, what it is a person who plays the victim role or has the victim mentality, they cannot handle feeling guilt. They just can't. It's one of those things where for them, the idea of having any kind of guilt or any kind of shame, it just is too much. It's too much for them to be able to process mentally. Their psyche can't handle it. They don't have the chip in their brain that allows them to be able to cope with feelings of guilt. And that's really sad, because in my video with vulnerability, it's okay to feel guilty. Shame's not good. I'll do another video on guilt and shame. They are different, but the reality is that it's okay to feel guilty with a lot of things in our life when we cause them. That's how we know to change. And the biggest issue with people that play the victim role or have the victim mentality is that they don't think they need to change. And they can't change if they have that mindset. They will not change if they have that mindset. And if it's concrete enough, it's rough, man. I just want everybody that listens to this video specifically, if you play the victim role or the victim or have the victim mentality, when you truly are not a victim, I want you to recognize it. I want you to know that it's okay that you made a mistake or that you did something wrong. It's okay that you need to apologize. It's okay that you did something wrong. Like, it's not that like earth shattering. It's okay. You deal with it, and then you move on, and you try not to do it again. And you can apologize to people, and you can say, sorry, my bad. Like, on me. It's on me. And then really allow yourself to feel, some guilt for it so that you don't do it again. It's really not that bad. And when I come across clients who have a tendency to do that, and they're trying to protect themselves from feeling guilty or having any kind of shame or being at fault for any reason, embarrassment could play a role in this. There could be a lot of emotions, honestly, but really most of the time it's guilt. I just tell people, look, it's really, once you do it and you accept that you've done that, you realize it's okay. It doesn't have to hurt your self-esteem. It doesn't have to be something where you just beat yourself down to a pulp. In fact, guilt is only as good as, or to the point that you want to make a change. Any guilt after that is just beating the tar out of yourself. I'll do another video about that. But really, I mean, it's one of those things where people just think that they need to, if they admit guilt, they just got to just beat themselves to a pulp. And it's just not the case. It's not true. Feel guilty, but only to the point that you want to change. And then after that, let it go. Move on, change it, and then let it be. Anyways, let me know if you guys know people like this. Tell me what it's like being in relationships with people like this. I'd be curious to know your take. And if you've ever had that kind of mentality, how did you get out of it? I think that would be really helpful for a lot of people who listen to these videos. So thank you.